All right, we're going to start the meeting now. Welcome everybody to the CDTA Board of Directors meeting. It's February 26, 2025, high noon here at 110 Waterville Avenue. We'll start with the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, January 29th. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Peter, thank you. Jackie, second. Any edits, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It's approved. We'll move on to recognitions. We have two today. All right. Awesome.
Oh. Yes. All right. First is Oscar Gonzalez for 20 years. Okay, so Oscar was working as a school bus driver when his friend's brother, who was working at CDTA, got him an application to apply here. He got the job and started in Schenectady on the extras list, which meant that he got to drive many different routes at the beginning. Now, Oscar drives the 353, which goes through Glenville, Schenectady, and Rotterdam. He has been doing this route for the past 13 years. And Oscar will tell you his favorite part of the job is the people. He says he has never had a problem with our customers. He enjoys seeing his regulars on his route, and he has really gotten to know them for the past 13 years, even knows some of their stops, even if they forget their stops. Looking back on his 20 years, Oscar says the biggest change he has seen at CDTA is the extensive schedule and route network that we now offer the community. He says when he started, there was only one route in Schenectady on Sundays, the 55. And he says the extended times on routes has really made a difference for the community. Oscar says what has kept him here is that he truly loves the job. He loves driving, the people that come on his bus, and the people he works with in Schenectady. In his spare time, Oscar loves to spend time with his family, especially his wife and grandchildren. And as for retirement, he says he's considering it for 2026, but he isn't sure yet. He said he's going to take some time to think about it, and for now, he'll continue to enjoy the job. Congratulations, Oscar, on 20 years of dedicated service. Ellie will take a photo of you guys. Thank you. Congratulations. All right, and next we have Mark Miller celebrating 30 years of service. So Mark was introduced to CDTA through his Albany County legislator in 1995. He knew CDTA was hiring and he told him to grab an application. Mark came to us with experience operating heavy machinery at Altech Specialty Steel Corporation, so driving buses was an easy switch for him. When Mark started at CDTA, he operated many Albany-based routes, including the 1, 8, 10, 12, 13, 18. Today, he works the 100 in Albany, but he'd like to get back to the 13 because it's a little quieter than the 100. Mark has witnessed many changes over the years and the condensing of routes to make them more efficient, equipment and technology advancements, and Mark can say he has driven 5 generations of buses here at CDTA. Some of Mark's favorite memories are the Christmas parties that a previous supervisor used to organize up at Lynn's on Colvin Avenue in Albany. Folks loved getting together to celebrate the holiday season. Mark says that while it can be a little difficult to get a decent schedule at first, if you stick it out for a few years, your seniority grows and you get a better pick of work and it pays off in the long run. In his spare time, Mark loves going to the movies and tinkering with his cars. He also loves to travel with his family. They've recently traveled to Detroit and the Poconos. And as for retirement, Mark's goal was to make it to 30 years with the company. He said retirement is coming, but he's going to delay it a little bit. He says he'll anticipate another year or two before he fades into the sunset. Congratulations, Mark, and thank you for 30 years of dedicated service.
Yes, sir. Started here. Same here.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
We'll move on to committee reports. First up with the Board Operations Committee meeting held on Wednesday, February 12th. We're going to start off with a consent agenda item. We had one last month. This one is a requirement, fulfilling a requirement of the Federal Transit Administration for the board's authorization designating a signatory for FTA grant awards. You know what we did last month?
Simple.
The resolution designating Mike Collins, our interim CEO, as the person who the board is naming to execute all FTA grant awards. So we need a motion to approve this resolution. Jackie, can I have a second from Georgie? Any comments, questions? Why are we doing this again?
The FTA wants us to do it.
Oh.
So,
That's
the easy one.
Good reason. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. Congratulations, Mike. At the meeting, we also previewed the agendas for the February committee meetings and today's board meeting. Mike updated us on activities, including some meaningful discussions with state legislators about a fee on automobile registrations for upstate residents that would serve as a potential continuing source of revenues in support of upstate transit systems. There is a comparable fee now that helps the MTA. Mike will give us an update on this later. We also discussed sending a letter to the newly appointed FTA administrator, Mark Molinaro, introducing CDTA to him and offering to meet with him once he gets settled in Washington. As you know, Mark Molinaro is a former congressman who represented many counties south of the Capital District. Mike also updated us on two upcoming audits. One would be undertaken by the State Comptroller's Office regarding security on the Navigator app. The other audit is the triennial review conducted by the FTA. Every 3 years, the FTA reviews 23 areas to ensure federal funds meet statutory and administrative requirements. Finally, with respect to the CEO search, later in the meeting, I will ask to convene an executive session to have a discussion with the board about where things stand right now. The next meeting of the Board Operations Committee, right here at 110 Waterville Avenue on March 12th at 9:15 a.m. Any questions on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to our next committee report by Peter Wall, the Performance Monitoring Committee.
The Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee met at noon on February 19th and have some items we're going to present today. Start with the consent agenda items. Seeking approval for contract for shelter cleaning. We issued an invitation to bid for shelter cleaning services. 6 bids were received and staff recommends the low bidder, Forever Green, who is the incumbent. Staff is pleased with the work they do. So we need a motion to award a 3-year contract with 2 optional years to Forever Green of Waterville, New York for an estimated cost of $379,000.
Denise, thank you. Second by Jackie. Any questions on that? Comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved.
Also seeking approval for a contract for shelter electrical services. An invitation to bid was issued for electrical services at Powered Shelter locations. 3 bids were received and staff recommends the low bidder, LaCourte Companies, who is the incumbent. And again, staff is very satisfied with their work, so we need a motion to award a 3-year contract with 2 optional years to LaCourte Companies of Albany for an estimated cost of $425,000.
So moved.
Thank you, Dave. Second by Jackie. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution is approved.
Excellent. And a resolution is also needed to approve and to accept state funding. New York State Department of Transportation requires the CDTA board resolution to reimburse for capital expenditures in 2023. We were awarded funding to enhance the intersection improvements in the city of Amsterdam. So I'm asking for a resolution to accept $589,760 in state funding for this capital project.
Georgie, second by Jackie. Any comments? slam dunk on this one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved.
And now I'm just gonna move on to a couple administrative items. Risk management workers' comp report. Amanda provided a quarterly review of the adequacy of our risk management workers' compensation self-insurance account. The committee determined that both accounts are adequate at this time. Also, that we went over the monthly management report. Trish Cooper provided us with monthly management report for January. Mortgage tax receipts are 17% under budget for this month and 1.5% under budget for the year. Customer fares are trending 1.2% under budget for the year, but advertising revenue is 14% over budget for the year. The wage line for the month is 9.8% over budget because quarterly attendance bonuses, 2 large retirement payouts, and it was a long month. Year-to-date wages are 1.4% over budget. Professional services are 34% under budget this month and 8.3% under budget for the year. And although January expenses were high, we remained in a satisfactory budget position for the year. And then the monthly non-financial, the performance report, which was provided by Chris Desney, who gave the non-financial report. Fixed route ridership was up 2.3%, star ridership is up 5%, on-time performance for fixed route service increased 73%, on-time performance in star was increased to 79%, and we missed only 0.14% of all scheduled trips. There were 26 preventable accidents and 20 non-preventable accidents. So that is the report from the committee. Our next meeting is on March 19th, 2025 here.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Any questions on that report? Moving on to Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee, David Stackpro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Community and Stakeholder Relations Committee met on February 20th in person here at 110 Watervliet Ave via Microsoft Teams. Kelly Schreivogel provided a presentation on the Human Resources Department, focusing on recruitment, retention, and employee engagement. And we got to meet most of Kelly's team. Kelly brought her team with her, so that was a nice treat for us. The recruitment process at CDTA is directed by the HR department and is one of the most critical areas of the organization. In 2024, the HR department hired 147 employees. 119 of them were bus operators. The continuing struggle we face is retaining those employees and not losing them to other opportunities. Employee benefits are one of the largest budget items at CDTA and are one of the most important items we provide to our employees. This year, we made some strategic changes to our healthcare plan, focused on comprehensive, affordable coverage. HR is focused more than ever on employee engagement or the employee experience. With staffing challenges largely impacted by employee turnover, we now have an experienced HR professional solely dedicated to engaging the workforce. The engagement manager meets with employees every day, answering questions and making connections. Jamie Kaslow provided the Earned Media and Community Relations report. Last month, CDTA issued 5 press releases and we earned 10 placements in television, newspaper, and radio, both locally and nationally, with an estimated value of $10,000. Stories included CDTA holding a fair hearing in Warren County. We participated in several community activities and events, including Transit Awareness Day, glowing our building red for the month of February for the Heart Association's Glow Red initiative, and giving our employees the opportunity to learn hands-only CPR. We continue to see increases in followers across our social media channels. Top posts in January were service changes and Bus Plus Red Line highlights. Looking ahead, we will attend the New England Parking Council Conference on March 6th and celebrate Transit Worker Appreciation Day on March 18th. That concludes the committee's report. Our next meeting of the committee will be on Thursday, March 20th at 11:15 a.m. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dave. Good report, good meeting that day.
I
We'll
think
move on.
we're gonna switch up HR next month. I know we've had 2 months of HR in a row, so we're gonna try a new department next month.
Sounds great.
Somebody
I
else.
might
on
need
the
to
hotline.
allocate more time to the committee. I ran 1 minute into Mike Rashone's committee meeting start time, so.
Let's work on that. Next report is the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee, and Jackie McDonough is gonna make the report.
Mr. Chairman, the Strategic and Operational Planning Committee, we met on February 20th here at 110 Waterville Avenue at noon time and via Microsoft Teams. We do have a consent agenda item this afternoon to approve the Warren County fare structure. Chris Desney provided details for the request to approve the new fare structure in Warren County. We incorporated the former GGFT operation into our service area in 2024 and did not adjust fares in the intermediate term. Now that we've been operating there for a year, it is time to incorporate that fare structure into the structure of the rest of our system. Our Title VI program states a report of all public comments received will be provided to the Board of Directors. Recommended changes in the proposal as a result of public comment may also be presented. Following completion of this process, the Board of Directors may authorize the implementation of the changes or may direct other action, quote. CDTA received 3 comments through the survey, 1 online and 6 at the hearing. Some comments were unrelated to the fare change. Others range from supporting fares matching across the service area to impacts of a fare increase to the poor, outreach effectiveness, appreciation, interest in a community advisory committee, and the parent transit approvals process. We do not recommend any adjustments to the plan based on public engagement. We plan to establish several milestones, data to accommodate exchanging legacy media, discontinuing the sale of the legacy media, accepting legacy media, and transitioning half-fare customers. We will also conduct the appropriate outreach, training, and customer education campaigns to facilitate this process. Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to approve the integration of the former GGFT fare structure into CDTA's existing Navigator fare structure.
Can I get a motion on resolution 10? Peter, thank you. A second?
Second.
Dave, thank you. Any questions about that? It was a pretty long discussion at the committee meeting.
We have administrative discussion items.
Can I have a vote first?
I'm sorry.
Aye. Not too fast. All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's approved. You may continue.
Thank you. Well, I did have to write slow on here because he did try to catch me up with the legacy media. Administrative discussion items. Fiscal year 2026 budget update. Patricia Cooper provided an update on where we are with the development of next year's budget. Very informative. We expect to finish the year on budget, but it will be tight. The composite budget was provided. Since submitting our preliminary budget in December, we have modestly increased advertising, contract increase, and facilities, new lease revenue from the West facility, and we are keeping customer revenue projections flat. We increased federal assistance by $3.7 million for fiscal year 2026 because we did not use this amount in the 2025 fiscal year budget. The governor's executive budget was released and it includes a 3.4 increase to our state operating assistance. This is welcome news, and the additional $2.2 million helps close the original budget gap. Health insurance projections are 7.1% higher than last year. Our other benefits line is increasing by 11%, mainly due to a contractual pension increase, while professional services are being reduced by 10% by eliminating several contracts. Purchase transportation is increasing 5% to accommodate more customers and a CPI increase. Our budget deficit is $5.5 million on an expense projection of $147.8 million. We continue to work with all departments to lower expenses to provide a balanced budget for review and approval in March. The next meeting of the Strategic and Operating Planning Committee will be on March 20th, right here at 110 Waterville Avenue, 12 noon, and via Microsoft Teams. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jackie. Good job filling in today. We'll move on to the interim.
Can I just make a comment on the budget?
You may.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of reiterate the federal assistance that we're running out of our COVID funds. So this year's gonna be a little difficult because of different cash management strategies this year. We did not have to use the 3.75 that we initially budgeted for this year, as Jackie was reading. So that was helpful for next year's budget, but we're gonna use our 8.7 million out of our COVID funds and we'll expend that this year. So next year is gonna be a little bit more challenging to make up that money.
So that money is able to roll over to the next year?
Yeah, we rolled it over, so now we have 8.7 million. So, but we'll have zero the following year,
Understood.
so we have to make that up. And I know that, budget wise, Trish's been working with all the departments to try to like narrow down the expenses. I know I've talked to Chris and Lance as well, and they've actually come back with some savings, and we'll continue to whittle that away up until through March, so.
The budget's on the agenda for next month's board meeting.
Yep.
All right, well then, why don't you keep going with the interim chief executive officer report.
Okay. I kind of see what Carl means by everything's already discussed at these committees. But,
It's a good
I
thing.
would say February was definitely the advocacy month and a budget month. And I know this has been repeated a couple times, but, the governor's executive budget was 3.4%. Obviously, we were looking for a lot more. Transit Awareness Day was on, what day was that? February 4th, Tuesday down at the Capitol. So I spent the day with NIPTA down at the Capitol, meeting a whole bunch of legislators. Jamie Kaslow was with me as well. And as it was reported out here, NIPTA is looking for a 15% increase in state operating assistance, like we are. We do have a mechanism that some of the legislators seem to warm up to a little bit, and that's the 15% fee that Jamie was talking about earlier. Downstate properties have had this motor vehicle registration fee for several years, and they get $25 per year per registration. We've kind of couched this to the legislators upstate that we're only looking for $10 at least to start. If we are lucky enough or fortunate enough to get the $10 fee, that will provide about $50 million to upstate properties, which would pay for the 15% increase. So it is nice, and I might have mentioned this last month too, it is nice to go to the legislators with a solution. So we'll see where that goes. Let's see, some performance measures, this was kind of stated already. January was kind of a tough month. Revenue was down, mortgage recording tax was down, 10-15% more than was budgeted, and we had a dip in customer revenue. And January is typically just a tough month. There's more work days in that month, 2 extra work days actually than usual. So everything's more expensive. So expenses were also over budget by 1.8%. Several categories were over budget, but again, I can say doing this for several years, January is probably the hardest month of the year. So February hopefully will look a lot better. However, our monthly performance report remains strong. And when you look at ridership statistics, although ridership has slowed a little bit, we're still up 2.3% versus last year. Star ridership's up 5% in January, so that's good. And I think Jackie mentioned this in her report, and we only missed 0.14% of all trips, so that's less than 1/4%. That's pretty impressive. As far as some activities that I did this month, let's see, on January 30th, I attended the Albany Business Review's State of the Region at Rivers Casino and Resort. CEG and ESD officials presented at this. They had a very positive report on the region. Apparently the capital region is only one of 2 regions in the whole state that's actually growing. So that's good for us. John, Jamie, and Emily also attended with me. And then I think this was mentioned also, the public hearing was on January 30th up in Glens Falls. We had, a dozen or so people speak. Some comments were negative, but a lot of them were also positive. The elected officials were very impressed with our service, and they had a lot of accolades to CDTA. So that was a good sign.
Like those comments, did they all become part of the permanent record too, and the responses to them?
Let me ask Jonathan, I think so.
From a hearing perspective, the hearing, we don't provide responses, but if somebody had sent in an email or sent us a letter, we would give them a response. The people that attended the hearing, we spoke to them right then and there.
Thank
And
you.
we do have their contact.
Thank you.
And I might have mentioned this before, but John did a kind of a preview before the official public hearing happened. It was a nice PowerPoint, and there was a lot of question and answers going back and forth. So Jonathan answered a lot of questions before the public hearing.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Good.
Let's see, this was also mentioned, but Chris and Amanda and myself had a nice meeting with the state controller's office about an audit they're doing on the Navigator app. I asked them, how long this might take, and they said anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. So if everything's going well, it won't be 2 years, but that was an eye-opener. I haven't been around a state controller audit for that long before, but that's what they told us. And then this past week, advocacy efforts continued. Lisa and I met with 3 different assembly members. Gabriela Romero, she's a new member in Albany. She took Pat Fahey's spot. We had some interesting dialogue with her. And John McDonald and Kerry Warner. And everybody is gung ho about CDTA, and they're gonna be advocating for our 15% increase. We'll see what happens. And then finally, yesterday I sent off a letter to the new FTA administrator, Mark Molinaro, that Jerry was talking about earlier, inviting him to our property to see how we operate, and hopefully we'll hear from him soon-ish. So we'll see what happens. So that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mike. Anybody have any questions for Mike?
We talk about those monthly parameters, and you highlighted a couple, and so did you in your report. Do you think as we go through the year, maybe it's also important to do the year-to-date updates on those too, because there's so many variables?
Well, we can easily include them. For space reasons, we don't talk about year-to-date, but we can do that. It's easy. I think, Trish, we're over budget on wages by 1.4% year-to-date.
Correct.
That's an important number. And we're down about the same in customer revenue, unfortunately.
So many variables with the months.
But going forward, we'll make sure we include that.
Anything else? Any board member comments at this time? If not, I'd like to get a motion from convene an executive session to talk about our CEO search. Denise, thank you. Second by Jackie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And so we'll clear the room at 12:28.